In today's video, we're going to be diving into the upcoming pattern where models have gotten a little bit better about the precipitation in the eastern states. And I don't want to get your hopes too far up. It isn't perfect. It isn't even really that good, but it's just not quite as bad as it was the guidance that we were getting a couple of days ago. The one thing that has gotten better for those of you that are hoping for more fall-like conditions and cooler temperatures, the models have come in and have consistently been deepening those chances of cooler air for the first half of October, which I guess I'm saying it like it's coming up, but it is October 1st today. So we are actually officially in October now, and we're going to be discussing the first half of this month as far as the models see it right now in the current conditions and everything. So let's go over the past 30 days. This is about as close to the full month of September as we're going to get. And we saw 2/3 of the month being warmer in this area here, but it was so cool compared to normal that we did hang on to some of these cooler temperatures, especially in the southeastern corner of the nation. And it's even impressive for the Ohio Valley, Great Lakes, Mid-Atlantic, and Northeast that we held on to near normal conditions, considering how warm it was for, again, the majority of the month. It goes to show that that first 10-day period of September was so cold compared to normal that even the final 20 days being warmer couldn't really make up for it. So pretty impressive stuff there. And we're also going to take a look here at the 1-day anomaly. And really, this is just the first little portion of the day. So tomorrow is going to be a more official look, but you can tell we've just been really, really warm as of late in these areas with cooler conditions over the west, which usually is a good explanation for the impacts we're seeing in the central and eastern states here. So really, really impressive stuff, but I do want to talk about what's upcoming more than anything. So let's just go through the precipitation pattern. And for this afternoon and this evening, what we're seeing as far as storminess is mostly over this northwestern corner of the nation, where we are seeing showery activity. There is little sporadic spots of maybe isolated showers throughout the nation, but really a dry look unless you're in that northwestern corner of the nation for the most part. Thursday here on October 2nd, we get a little bit more deep south and southeast activity going, but it's still isolated and scattered about. The northwest remains the more active area for Thursday, the 2nd of October. So as we move towards Friday on the 3rd of October, it's really a lot of the same. Florida is a little bit more saturated here with thunderstorm and shower activity. The Northwest, this precipitation is moving further and further south, more towards the Southwest being involved, like Central California, Nevada here in areas of Utah. But still Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, and Oregon seeing precipitation here. As we just keep on going towards Saturday on the 4th of October, again, showery and thunderstorm activity sticking around the same areas in the southeast. We do have a stronger low developing east of Colorado, which is aiding to really bring this deepening cool air down the Rockies and actually rushing up warmer air into the upper Midwest and northern plains to the east of it. Interestingly enough, I mean, we have a lot of precipitation around again for the Northwest, Rockies, into the north central states, but we are seeing snowfall for some mountain ranges throughout states like Montana, Idaho, Wyoming, Colorado, and Utah there, as well as maybe even New Mexico, seeing some in the very, very high elevation regions. So probably if you're at your house, not going to be seeing snowfall unless you live at the top of a mountain or something. Just wanted to point that out, but the high tops of the mountain ranges are seeing some snowfall, which is interesting to say the least. We're early on in the season, but this is when we start to talk about stuff like that. For Sunday on October 5th, again, just 5 days from now, we do see a 996 there over south central Canada now, kind of moving between the Great Lakes and Hudson Bay, which, as you know, is a pretty key indicator that we've had here on the channel of cooler air moving into the east. This is dragging behind it a little bit of a cold front, obviously a really defined warm front out to the east there, and we do see showery thunderstorm activity in the southeast still, but this is going to be a warmer time frame for a lot of the east as that warm front is dominating. Warmer air is going to be kind of funneled up northward into this eastern area. We do see, however, warmer air building for the west coast, though, and this cooler air being rushed in south and eastward behind this cold front. So this one is expected to impact the central and eastern states. So we're going to watch this play out. We'll go over the temperatures later on, of course. Monday, this becomes a little bit of a higher precipitation cold front where we can actually see where it's located right there, bringing showers and thunderstorms to parts of the plains and Midwest here in particular. Again, the deep south and southeast is expanding with the areas seeing precipitation, so that's getting a little bit richer and more expansive as we head towards early next week. Looking at Tuesday on October 7th here, again, frontal boundary set up somewhere along the plains, Midwest, Great Lakes. Excuse me. We do see precipitation getting a little bit more abundant just underneath that cold front as a whole. Obviously, this model's current thinking is that there is warmer air rushing up this western area. So we are developing a ridge here, clearly a trough that's trying to swing in, and then a little bit of a flatter ridge there out to the east where this boundary is going to have to move southward to bring substantial cooler air. We do see by Wednesday a little bit more of an organized look. A low here just to the north of Maine. Clear, defined cold front swinging underneath. Very high precipitation. And this cooler air is impacting the eastern states by this point. Again, we'll look at the temperature anomalies later on. This is incredible news for those of you that want cooler air, and this is also incredible news for those of you that really, really need precipitation, which is most everybody in the eastern states. So this is a good saturating rainfall event. More high precipitation cold front is going to be really beneficial there. Don't know why I just stuttered on that one. Thursday on October 9th, we do see that trough moves out really, really quickly. So this might be a day or two of cooler temperatures, especially when compared to the days before and the days following it. But really, it's going to bring below average temperatures compared to what's typical for this time of year. So it is going to be a decent cold front, to say the least. We end up with some showers still around for the Midwest and Southeast here, as well as portions of the lower Four Corner states. And that's going to be for, again, Thursday on the 9th here. We do see another low trying to come together here for the Northwest. Cooler temperatures returning to this area, and it's enough to bring snowfall for the mountains of Washington, Oregon, maybe Oregon, in the very high elevations. Idaho and Montana there, we do see a lot of blues. So again, snowfall becoming a little bit more common, and it's only going to continue to get more common as the weeks and months fly by. Looking at the overall precipitation, I mean, we're looking at the west and the central states, especially the north central states as a whole. Some isolated showers the deeper south you go in the central and eastern states, but the more substantial stuff is within this area here. Saturday the 11th, and this is as we move into the long range, so take it with a grain of salt. We do have a low forming to the east of Wyoming now, so this low is a little further northward than our previous one, but it is wanting to try to develop a cold front and a warm front dynamic there, which is going to help for this one to potentially pull cooler air in. We do have pockets of showers, maybe even thunderstorms for parts of the Midwest and Ohio Valley going on there for Saturday on the 11th. As we keep going towards Sunday on the 12th here, we can see this low that is between the Hudson Bay and Great Lakes is really strong. 985 here, bringing heavy precipitation to many different areas throughout Canada, the Great Lakes, Ohio Valley, and Mid-Atlantic there in the United States. Really, really impactful for Sunday on the 12th here. It is the long range. There's time for things to change, but it's certainly a very dynamic system. Long stretching cold front, which is obviously the theme here with these two systems that move through. Not quite as high precipitation for the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast, but it is some, and it will definitely be beneficial. Also the deep south where they really need it as well, getting precipitation. And clearly we've seen this positive PNA, which just means ridge out west essentially, warmer temperatures dominating again along this western seaboard. And this creates an imbalance that really sends this Arctic air flying in to the central and eastern states. And again, the first cold front was more intense today than it has been on previous days' model runs, and this one is as well. This is not an exception. We see by Tuesday, we have really, really cool temperatures compared to normal, especially throughout the Great Lakes, Northeast, Mid-Atlantic here. But as a whole, if we watch the jet stream, it's just descending into the east. So you can anticipate warmer temperatures out west and cooler temperatures in the east during this time frame, which is nearly the midway point of the month. So definitely time for things to change, but this is a positive look again for those of you hoping for more fall-like conditions. We do have precipitation throughout the deep south and southeast still, so those areas are kind of flourishing on this model run. And as we reach towards the end, nothing really changes. Still ridge in the west, trough in the east here. Total precipitation is going to be spotty, but we do see some pretty positive areas in here. And then we do see a positive little like streak of high precipitation in these areas. So it's really like multiple different areas here. The anomalies are going to help us out here, but we can see it's pretty messy. Below average in the Northwest, above average for the Rockies and Northern Plains, below average for the Four Corner States, at least the middle of it, as well as the upper Midwest and Great Lakes, but above average for the lower Four Corner States, as well as portions of Texas here, Plains and Midwest, and even into the Ohio Valley. And then below average for some of the Central Plains, deep south, but also that extends up to the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast, but we do have above average for the immediate Southeast as well. So look at how messy this is. This is all over the place. Look at how many, negatives and positives I've drawn on the screen. I mean, this is just really, really crazy. But it is improving for the central and eastern states for sure. A lot of these below average areas aren't that bad, especially compared to what we've seen from model guidance. So definitely some reason to feel optimistic. Looking at the temperatures, we have three main features moving in. We see a negative PNA, which means cooler temperatures in these areas. It's maybe a neutral PNA, but there's cooler temperatures out there. So usually this is going to act much more like a negative PNA either way. We do see warmer temperatures rushing into the central states as you would expect with that, but we do have this backdoor cold front that we've been talking about where cooler temperatures sort of dominate here for the next couple of days along the eastern seaboard. As we kind of get past that phase, we continue by the 5th here, Sunday, to see cooler temperatures out west and warmer temperatures for the central states and even now for the eastern states by the time we're reaching late this upcoming weekend. But you might notice there's a few yellows and oranges kind of building along the western seaboard, and that is definitely going to be a factor here, especially as we move into the next few days following that. We start to see even more and more oranges and reds here along the west building, and that's right as this first cold front is trying to swing in. We have a low right there, cold front, and then a warm front sort of up here. So again, this is that phase where the warm air is rushing up the eastern states, but we have cooler air about to swing in and disrupt all of it. This is pretty classic stuff with a cold front like this. We do see that move into the east, but again, it's very brief. Very thin area of cooler air that is moving from west to east. So this is a day to 2 days of cooler air, I think, moving in. As we keep going, we do briefly get warmer here around the 11th, 12th, 13th on this model run, but then we get an even more substantial cool air mass here, Arctic blast, where we're dealing with greens pretty widespread throughout different areas. That's 10 to 15 degrees below normal, so certainly a far departure from what's typical. And this is likely able to be a lot more of a substantial cool down because this model shows a positive PNA or warmer temperatures along western North America. And this forces the cooler air from that western portion of Canada down into the central and eastern states, which we see in full swing effect here. Let's take a look at the GFS, see where we get agreement. We do get that backdoor cold front. We do get the warm front afterwards. We do get that cold front for especially the north central and northeastern states. And then we do get this more substantial cool down that does move in, although the European model is a lot more substantial with it. And the reason being is because right around this time frame on the European model, we had really warm temperatures along the west. And you can see we're struggling to warm up this area. There's cooler temperatures around. There's warmer temperatures as well, but this is not a purely positive PNA, I guess is the point. And we really see this one struggle to infiltrate into the deep south states. We end up with cooler temperatures mostly for the central eastern states, and what I mean is like a north to south central, and also kind of some of the Midwest, Great Lakes, and Northeast areas, as opposed to a full-blown cool down in the east. So there is still options. There's different ways this can go. I will say at the end of the model run, we do see things warming even further in the west, so you can anticipate that that would maybe mean more cooler air moving into the east over time. Both models look pretty positive. Again, if you enjoy fall-like conditions and not summer-like conditions this time of year, this is all looking pretty optimistic, and so is the precipitation. So a lot of good news coming out of this video. So be sure to subscribe. We upload every single day. You can even hit the bell icon for daily notifications when we upload so you never miss one. Be sure to like the video if you did enjoy it, leave a comment down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.